Hello, welcome back to the Narconon and Scientology Chronicles channel. I'm Lucas Catton. And I've been doing some digging into the federal 990 forms that Narconon has to file each year as a tax-exempt organization. They are nonprofit treatment centers, and or that's how they're filed. Most of the profits are supposed to be put back into the facility, but really they pay that money, quote unquote, uplines to ABLE and Scientology. They used to pay that to Narconon International. However, as a previous video, which I'll link to here, Narconon International was basically dissolved a few years ago, and now the management of Narconon facilities has been taken over directly by ABLE, Association for Better Living and Education, which is staffed 100% completely by Church of Scientology, billion-year contract Sea Org members. So the previous claims of separation between Narconon and Scientology, even though everybody actually knew that they were fake, are even more false than before. That being said, we'd also talked about the shrinking Narconon network. So the disappearance of Narconon International, again, I'll put that video at the end of here, but also the shrinking of the Narconon network with the big announcement at the beginning of the year that Narconon Fresh Start programs in Southern California and Nevada have closed as of the beginning of the year. I think potentially even as early as late last year. So I talked about there's only 5 facilities left. There's the Celebrity Rehab, Narconon Ojai in California. There's Arrowhead in Narconon in Oklahoma, Narconon Arrowhead in Oklahoma. There's Narconon Colorado, Narconon Suncoast in Florida, and Narconon Louisiana. So those are the only 5 facilities left. Upon further digging into these 990 forms, I've found out that really Ojai can't even necessarily be included in that. The facility itself not only is owned by the Church of Scientology's Social Betterment Properties Incorporated, but these 990 forms that show annual income, annual revenue, and expenses, there is something called a 990N e-postcard. And that's what Narconon Ojai has been filing for 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019. And let me read you from the IRS website on who may file Form 990N to satisfy their annual reporting requirement. And here's a quote here. Small tax-exempt organizations generally are eligible to file Form 990N to satisfy their reporting requirements if their annual gross receipts are normally $50,000 or less. So why is that significant? Obviously, the $50,000 or less is what I'm focusing in here on, because when this program started up and when talk of the Celebrity Rehab or the Narconon in Los Angeles area, in Southern California, that is supposed to be small and private, hence the Larry Hagman estate, Narconon Ojai came about, they were going to charge $50,000 or more per client. Now, it's very, very common for treatment facilities to charge $30,000, let's say, for a residential stay. That's very common. That's included usual and customary benefits and allowable charges by most insurance carriers. And they'll come in range somewhere in there. But $50,000 for a residential stay is certainly above average. And they were looking at that as a starting point for their admissions. So that means that for 4 years straight, Narconon Ojai, their Celebrity Rehab, had either 1 or less clients for the whole year, or they're taking people for much less than that just to get somebody in the door. And it's likely the latter, that they were taking people in for much less than that. But even if they're taking in people for $5,000, that means they had less than 1 client, 1 admission, 1 patient, 1 student, as they call them, per month for the whole year, even at only $5,000. And there's no way that they let that happen. So are they even operational at this point? I don't know. That's a good question, because they're not getting any revenue whatsoever. They're just not. And so this leads me to basically say that Narconon is virtually extinct in California. Ojai is doing nothing. Narconon International is gone. It's ABLE now. And Narconon Fresh Start is also gone. And on Fresh Start's 2019 990 forms, they show a negative $3 million in net assets. So they basically went bankrupt. That's why they shut down. They were no longer viable. They couldn't make enough money. Now, they did make roughly $5 million in revenue that year, which is a significant amount of money in 2019. But they had $6+ million in expenses, and that was for multiple years in a row that they're running in the red, and that's how they wound up with -3 million or -3 million in assets, and why they shut their doors, because it's not a viable business plan anymore, because the secret's out, the secret's out. So there you go. Narconon is virtually extinct in the state of California, and the federal IRS 990 forms don't lie. That's all I got this time. Take care.